Obviously, Intact is not an inexpensive system.
Right.
So you guys are a small business.
Right.
How'd you justify the cost? Josh, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for making the trip.
Yeah, no problem. So tell me a little bit about like TNT.
So we do masonry restoration. We restore churches, courthouses, schools. But as it is right now, I'm at the point where I feel pretty comfortable about where the business is size-wise, where it no longer takes as much cash to keep growing.
Yeah.
So now the focus is really on profitability.
Yep.
And that's kind of what drove us to looking at Intact. What kind of got me looking at that, it was like, I started learning about analytics, you know, the power of analytics and Power BI and all this. And it led me down to, well, really, I don't have the data. Like all that stuff's only as good as the data you get.
Yep.
And so I knew before I started putting a big push on getting the right data, I better start with the right system. Like don't start going down this road with Sage 100 if, you know, in a few years, you're going to want to switch anyways.
What was really the driving decision behind Intact?
Just looking forward and saying, oh gosh, you know what? In 5 years, this is where I want to be with analytics. To me, like the holy grail is to get these connections you don't see. Like I'm hoping, you know, this is pretty theoretical, but I think it'll get there, is where you'll be able to start to see those relationships where, gosh, man, every job Reed is on, that thing makes an additional 20% beyond what any other crew does. Or, you know, locations, looking at, you know, certain locations that you're more profitable.
Yep.
I mean, you can get there with a lot of the current tools, but it may take a lot of time. And I'm hoping the analytics might make some of those connections quicker and more efficiently.
Obviously, Intact is not an inexpensive system.
Right.
So you guys are a small business.
Right.
How'd you justify the cost?
I would rather spend money on software that I know will always add 1 + 1 = 2 versus a lot of really good administrative people. But then also that is one more person to manage.
Yeah.
So I'm getting time back by investing it in the process,
Yep.
getting the processes built out, and then you know that always will work.
So let's talk a little bit about Bangert's deployment. You know, what we're doing and all of this stuff is we're saying, hey, you know, the old way of doing things is done. Like, was any part of what we presented in like deployment, was that a driving factor in your decision too?
Yeah. I mean, I liked, because I wanted to have a really accelerated time frame, right? So like there aren't very many, you know, implementations that you can do in such a short window.
Yeah.
And you guys were good about like, yeah, we can bring you on board, and started building out that enablement, which was kind of like the part where you're checking things out in the beginning.
Yep.
Right. And the classes were good in that they're just walking you through how to like set up all the different stuff.
We're a very specific niche.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's
Yeah.
not a ton of people out there that do what we do.
Yep.
And we just have such a great team that's on board with that concept of like, hey, we want to put out free resources.
Yep.
We want to create a community where people can post, you know, questions, or they can get answers. We want to do free live streams.
Live classes on there. Yep.
I think you could probably implement or deploy yourself on Intact just from our YouTube channel if you really wanted to.
Right.
Not everybody's a pioneer in technology. I mean,
Right.
what makes you feel comfortable and good with that, with being, you know, on the cutting edge of things?
By being one of the first ones, it kind of forces you to get good tech support, because it's a hand-in-hand collaboration basically of like, hey, this isn't working for me, guys, we need this fixed.
Yeah.
And then that becomes high priority. So as long as you can go into it and know there's a little bit of that.
I appreciate the time today.
No, we're good. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.